Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nara Speak English. I'm Nara.
And I'm Ethan. We're so excited to have you here with us today.
Today, we're going to put ourselves in a real-life situation, one that almost everyone experiences. We're at a restaurant.
That's right. Eating at a restaurant should be enjoyable. But for many English learners, it can also feel a little stressful.
Not because the situation is difficult, but because they're not always sure what to say.
Exactly. So today, we're going to have a natural conversation. And by the end of this episode, you'll feel much more confident speaking English at a restaurant.
All right, Ethan. Let's imagine we've just arrived at the restaurant. We're standing outside the entrance. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's go inside.
Before we begin, I have a question for you. When you go to a restaurant, what's usually the first thing you say?
Probably, hello. Sometimes we forget that conversations don't need to start with long sentences. A simple greeting is often enough.
I agree. Many English learners think they need perfect English from the very first sentence, but that's not how real conversations work.
Exactly. A smile, a greeting, and a polite attitude. Those things matter just as much as your English.
That's a great point. People don't expect you to speak perfect English. They simply want to understand you.
And that's why today's conversation is going to be simple. We'll use the kind of English people actually speak in restaurants. Nothing complicated, nothing unnatural.
All right, we're standing at the entrance. It's time to go in. What would you say first?
I'd smile and say, hi. Then I'd continue with, we'd like a table for two, please.
Simple, polite, and completely natural. Let's continue. So, we've just walked into the restaurant. Everything looks clean and welcoming. I already like this place.
Me too. The atmosphere feels relaxed. It's the kind of place where you can enjoy a good meal and a good conversation.
Now comes the first real moment. You're ready to speak English. What would you say?
I'd keep it simple. I'd say, hi. Then, we'd like a table for two, please.
I like that sentence. It's short, easy to remember, and very natural.
Exactly. You don't need complicated English. Simple English is often the best English.
Could you also say, do you have a table for two?
Absolutely. That's another expression people use all the time. Both sound polite. Both are completely natural.
I think that's something many learners don't realize. There isn't always one perfect sentence. There are usually several natural ways to say the same thing.
That's true. The important thing is to choose a sentence you feel comfortable saying. Confidence makes a big difference.
All right, let's say we have our table. We're sitting down now, and the menus are right in front of us.
Perfect. Now it's time to decide what we're going to eat.
I always find this part interesting. Sometimes I know exactly what I want. Other times, I spend 5 minutes looking at the menu.
I know exactly what you mean. The more choices I have, the harder it becomes to decide.
Do you usually try something new, or do you order the same meal every time?
It depends. If I visit a restaurant for the first time, I usually choose something familiar. That way, I know what to expect.
That makes sense, especially when the menu is in English. Choosing something familiar can make the experience less stressful.
Exactly. Learning English is challenging enough. There's no need to make everything difficult at the same time.
Now, let's say I see a dish I've never heard of. What should I do?
Don't guess. Just ask. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. In fact, people do it all the time.
I like that advice. Sometimes we forget that asking questions is part of communication.
Exactly. You don't have to know every word on the menu. You just need to feel comfortable asking when you don't understand something.
I think that's a great mindset. Instead of worrying about making mistakes, focus on having a conversation.
That's always the goal. Real communication, not perfect English.
All right, let's open the menu. There are so many options: pasta, pizza, salads, soups. I'm not sure where to start.
That happens to me all the time. Sometimes I spend more time reading the menu than actually eating the meal.
I think we've all done that at least once.
Probably. But there's no reason to rush. Take your time, read the menu carefully, and choose something you'll enjoy.
Here's something I've always wondered. What if I don't understand the name of a dish? Should I just choose something else?
Not at all. If you're curious, just ask. People ask about the menu every day. It's completely normal.
That's reassuring. Sometimes I think English learners feel like they're supposed to understand everything.
I know, but even native speakers ask questions when they see something unfamiliar. So don't put that pressure on yourself.
You're right. Learning the language isn't about knowing every word. It's about feeling comfortable enough to keep the conversation going.
Exactly. And that's what we're practicing today. Not perfect English, real English.
Let's say I finally found something that looks interesting. Now comes another question. How do I order it naturally?
The easiest way is to say, I'd like, for example, I'd like the grilled chicken, please. It's simple, polite, and something you'll hear every day.
I hear another expression quite often. I'll have. Is there a big difference?
Not really. I'll have the pasta. Sounds just as natural. People use both expressions all the time.
So, I'd like and I'll have are both excellent choices.
Exactly. Choose the one that feels more comfortable to you. The important thing is speaking with confidence.
What about saying, I want the pasta? Is that wrong?
People will understand you, but it can sound a little direct. I'd like usually sounds friendlier and more polite.
That's a small change, but it makes a big difference.
It really does. Sometimes sounding natural isn't about using difficult words. It's about choosing polite, everyday expressions.
I like that. Learning English doesn't always mean learning more vocabulary. Sometimes it simply means learning better ways to say the same thing.
Exactly. And those small improvements are what make your English sound more natural.
All right, I think I've made my decision. I'm going to order the pasta. What about you?
I'm still thinking. The pizza looks great, but the lasagna also sounds delicious.
You're still undecided? I thought you had already chosen.
I did. Then I kept reading the menu. Now I'm changing my mind again.
I think that's something many people do. The more options they see, the harder it becomes to choose.
You're probably right. All right, I've decided. I'll have the margarita pizza.
Good choice. Now, what would you like to drink?
I think I'll have sparkling water. What about you?
I'm in the mood for something refreshing. I'll have fresh lemonade.
That sounds perfect. I think we've finally made all our decisions.
Yes, sometimes choosing the food takes longer than eating it.
That's surprisingly true. Now all we have to do is wait for our meal to arrive.
I think that's something many of us forget. We're often in such a hurry.
That's true. Sometimes it's nice to put your phone away, enjoy your food, and simply be present.
I couldn't agree more. Oh, I think our food is finally here.
Perfect timing. Everything looks delicious. Let's see if it tastes as good as it looks.
Well, my pasta looks amazing. I have to admit, I'm even more excited now than I was a few minutes ago.
Mine looks great too. The pizza smells wonderful. I think we made some good choices.
All right, first bite. Wow, that's really good.
Is it? Now I'm curious. What do you like about it?
The sauce is rich. The pasta is perfectly cooked, and everything tastes fresh. It's exactly what I was hoping for.
That sounds fantastic. Let me try my pizza. I have no complaints. The crust is crispy, the cheese is delicious, and the tomatoes are full of flavor.
It sounds like we're both happy with our meals.
Definitely. There's nothing better than ordering something and realizing it was exactly the right choice.
Have you ever ordered something and immediately wished you'd chosen something else?
More than once, especially when someone else's meal arrives first. Suddenly, everything on their plate looks better than mine.
I know exactly what you mean. I think that happens to almost everyone.
Luckily, that isn't happening today. I'm very happy with my pizza.
You know, one thing I really enjoy about eating with friends is talking about the food. Everyone notices something different.
That's true. Some people pay attention to the flavor, others notice the presentation, and some people just care about the portion size.
That's definitely true. Some people ask, does it taste good? Others ask, will this actually fill me up?
Exactly. Everyone has different priorities. That's what makes food such an interesting topic.
If you had to describe your pizza in just 3 words, what would they be?
Crispy, fresh, and satisfying. What about your pasta?
I'd say creamy, flavorful, and comforting. It's the kind of meal that makes you want to come back again.
I like that description. Good food isn't always about expensive ingredients. Sometimes it's simply about how a meal makes you feel.
I completely agree. A simple meal can become unforgettable if you enjoy it with the right people.
That's one of my favorite things about restaurants. They're not only places to eat, they're places where people celebrate, catch up with friends, or simply enjoy each other's company.
Exactly. When I think about my favorite restaurants, I don't only remember the food, I remember the conversations, the laughter, and the people I shared those moments with.
That's what makes a meal truly memorable.
I think we've almost finished our meals. I'm definitely full. Everything was delicious.
Same here. I don't think I could eat another bite.
There's just one thing left to do. It's time to pay. I think this is another moment that makes some English learners feel nervous.
You're right. Not because it's difficult, but because they aren't sure what to say.
The good news is you only need one simple sentence.
Exactly. I'd simply say, "Could we have the bill, please?" Or, "Could we get the check, please?" Both are natural.
I've noticed something interesting. Sometimes people say bill, and sometimes they say check.
That's true. You'll hear both. Bill is common in many places. Check is very common in the United States. Either way, people will understand you.
That's good to know. It's nice when different expressions mean the same thing. It gives learners more confidence.
Exactly. You don't have to memorize every possible expression. Learn a few natural ones and use them comfortably.
I think that's one of the biggest lessons from today's conversation. Simple English can be very powerful.
Absolutely. People aren't judging your vocabulary. They're simply having a conversation with you.
There's one more question people often ask. Should you pay with cash or by card?
Honestly, either one is usually fine. Today, most restaurants accept card payments, but it's always a good idea to carry a little cash, just in case.
That makes sense. It's better to be prepared than surprised.
Exactly. And after paying, there's only one thing left.
Saying goodbye. I think people sometimes forget that ending a conversation politely is just as important as starting one.
I agree. A simple "thank you" or "have a great day" can leave a wonderful impression.
Kindness doesn't require perfect English. Sometimes a smile and a few simple words are enough.
That's one of the things I like most about English. You don't need long, complicated sentences to sound friendly. Simple expressions often feel the most natural.
Looking back, the whole restaurant experience wasn't difficult at all. We greeted people politely, we chose our food, we ordered naturally, we enjoyed a good meal, and we finished the conversation with confidence.
Exactly. When you break the situation into small steps, it becomes much less intimidating. One sentence at a time. One conversation at a time. That's how confidence grows.
And I think that lesson applies to much more than restaurants.
I couldn't agree more.
You know, Ethan, when we started this conversation, I think many people expected eating at a restaurant to be much more complicated.
I think so too. But when you look at it step by step, you realize that most conversations are actually very simple.
Exactly. You don't need hundreds of expressions. You just need the right ones. And you need the confidence to use them.
That's one of the biggest misunderstandings about learning English. People often believe they have to know everything before they start speaking.
When in reality, speaking is how you learn, not something you do after you've learned everything.
Absolutely. Every conversation teaches you something new. Maybe it's a new word, a better expression, or simply the confidence to speak again next time.
I also think it's important to remember that making mistakes is completely normal. Even if you forget a word or pronounce something incorrectly, the conversation can still go well.
Exactly. Most people are patient. They aren't listening for your mistakes. They're listening because they want to understand you.
And that's a much better way to think about communication. Instead of asking, "What if I make a mistake?" maybe we should ask, "Can the other person understand me?"
I couldn't agree more. If the answer is yes, then you've already succeeded.
I think that's why real-life practice is so valuable. You can study grammar for hours, but nothing replaces a real conversation.
That's true. The more situations you practice, the more natural English begins to feel. One day, ordering food feels difficult. A few weeks later, you don't even have to think about it.
That's real progress. Not speaking without mistakes, but speaking with more confidence than yesterday.
Exactly. Confidence grows through repetition. The more you use English, the more comfortable it becomes.
And here's something I'd like everyone listening to remember. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you know every word. Start with the English you already have.
I love that advice. Simple English spoken with confidence is always better than perfect English that never leaves your mind.
So the next time you walk into a restaurant, take a deep breath, smile, and enjoy the conversation. You might be surprised by how much English you already know.
Exactly. Sometimes the hardest part is simply saying that very first word. After that, everything becomes much easier.
I think that's the perfect message to end today's conversation.
Me too. Let's wrap things up.
Before we finish, let's take a moment to think about what we've learned today. We didn't use difficult grammar. We didn't use advanced vocabulary. And yet, we were able to go through the entire restaurant experience in English.
Exactly. That's because everyday English is often much simpler than people imagine. The real challenge isn't learning complicated words. It's learning to use simple words with confidence.
And confidence doesn't appear overnight. It grows every time you practice. Every conversation, every question, and every small step helps you become a better speaker.
So don't worry if you forget a word once in a while. Don't worry if your pronunciation isn't perfect. Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep learning.
One conversation won't make you fluent, but one conversation can make you more confident. And confidence is one of the most important parts of learning any language.
Absolutely. Every time you use English in a real situation, you're becoming a stronger English speaker, even if you don't realize it yet.
And that's something worth celebrating. We hope today's conversation showed you that speaking English at a restaurant doesn't have to be difficult. With a few natural expressions and a little confidence, you're ready to enjoy the experience.
Remember, every conversation is a chance to improve. The more you practice, the more natural English will become. So don't be afraid to speak. That's how real progress happens.
Before we finish, we have a question for everyone watching. Imagine you're at a restaurant right now. What would you order?
Write your answer in the comments using English. Try to use one of today's expressions, like I'd like or I'll have. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just give it a try.
We'd love to read your answers. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new lesson.
Next time, we'll put ourselves in another real-life situation and learn even more practical English together.
Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, enjoy learning English.
Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.